we started off by doing sous vide 101, and we had an awesome chef. Sean Doyle was here, and we were going through working with a circulator, a chamber vac, everything. Then we had Fabio Viviani. He did pasta from scratch. After that, we had Chef Michael Langdon. He came in, and we were starting to do. We did 3 different manifestations of homemade ricotta, and then yesterday or this morning, what did we do this morning? I can't remember now. What's it say up there? Oh, the mozzarella curd. How could I forget? Listen, who here saw the mozzarella story that we did, right? All right. If you didn't get confidence from watching us switch equipment in the middle of a hot curd getting formed, if you don't have confidence in trying it, you can do better than that at your kitchen. But it was awesome. We got mozzarella pinched off. It was amazing. And then we have Fabio Viviani. He just did the gnocchi. And now we're going to wrap it up with homemade sausage. Is anybody picking up a theme here? All right. Doing a little bit of Italian. The basics done better, obviously, is our theme. Then tonight we got Fabio Viviani. We're going to have dinner with him, and he's really going to drop some knowledge on us. We have Chef Chris Mullen here from the Blakesley Inn down in Pennsylvania. Where is it in Pennsylvania?
We're located about 20 minutes from Mount Airy Casino in the Pocono Mountains.
Awesome.
Route 940.
And how long have you been there?
I was actually there a decade 2 weeks ago.
You've been there for 10 years?
Yeah, I'm 31. I know I look like I'm about 15, but...
All right, so Chris got the job when he was 9 and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate that.
But really, and this is really the first year that we've done this, we've actually, usually we work with corporate chefs and stuff, and it kind of gets a little corporate-y up here. We said, you know what, maybe all the customers out there, they would like to see some of their peers up here actually doing this stuff. This morning we were doing mozzarella when it came time to pinch it. We had customers coming up here, and they were actually pinching it with the chefs from Branca in Rochester, so it was pretty cool. So this is really exciting for us.
Absolutely.
When we're talking about sausage here, there's a couple of things I want to touch on before I hand it over to Chris. Number one, we sell pretty much everything up here that you're seeing with the exception of this bad boy right here. This is a sausage stuffer. We can get our hands onto a sausage stuffer. We would highly recommend that you use an NSF approved sausage stuffer, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this one that you may have gotten from your favorite local sporting hunting goods store for a not extravagant amount of money. If you're just getting into sausage, this is a great learner, as they call it. And it gets you really warmed up until you make an investment. Sausage is wonderful. It's an easy thing to work into your menus.
Yep.
No matter what, if you're right? If you're white tablecloth.
We do it all. We're from pub-inspired dining to fine dining. We have 3 distinct dining experiences, so we'll get into that.
Cool. So sausage can be done for everyone. We want to show you how to make it and run it right through in a rope stage. Of course, you can make it loose, and then you can do any sort of other things. But we're going to run it through a standard casing here, and we're going to talk about that. But you don't want to hear from me because you always hear too much from me. I want to hand it over to Chris here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and what we're going to do today. Chris.
Like Eamon said, I'm the executive chef of the Blakesley Inn in the Poconos. 10 years. We take pride in fresh, never frozen product. Everything from the Kobe burger bun to the French fries are hand cut. All the pasta's made fresh in-house by my sous chef who's in the front row here. Ravioli, cavatelli, fettuccine, linguine, spaghetti, 2 different kinds of raviolis. We have sausage that we showcase on it's more of a traditional dish. It's stuffed mushrooms, as everyone knows, but we like to bulk it up by making our own sausage mix, and then we incorporate mozzarella curd because we also make fresh mozz in-house as well. Go ahead, Chef.
You know, Chef, actually.
Oh, we do.
It just so happens.
Oh, he's got a little ball.
You know? So, actually, you know what? This is a good example here. Yeah, we have a sausage recipe here, but these aren't hard, fast recipes that we're going to share with our customers here, right?
Right.
There's flexibility.
You can add whatever you'd like. Here we have the pork, which you want to keep as cold as possible. Put this in our mixing bowl, and then it's just a spice blend, a lot of paprika, red pepper flakes, black pepper, salt and pepper, white pepper. This recipe is just a garlic pepper and broccoli rabe sausage. So keep it simple. You can add it to your mushrooms. It stays along the lines of an Italian, flair. So there's your garlic. You got some chives here, and then there's some red vino. We'll keep it Italian. Use the word vino. Get that going. Here's your Rob. Now we're using natural casings. There's a few different types. There's you could get anything from plastic or cellulose to your natural. Oh yeah, there's that first knob.
There you go.
Anything from sheep, or we're using natural hog casing.
Is that all the way down? Technical error.
Uh-oh. We might be mixing this by hand, folks.
Old school. We told
Yeah.
you we were going to go back to basics.
Okay, like I said with the casings, these are natural. They come in usually in a brine or packed in salt for preservation. Like if there's any casing sticking out of the salt or the brine, it's going to go rancid a lot quicker than if it was in the actual salt. He's readjusting this
We're going to swing this
mixer,
over.
obviously. There it is. All right, so you mix this on low till it's pretty just incorporated. You don't want to beat it up.
Now, a couple of things while he's mixing the sausage that I want to mention. Number one, you could buy ground pork if you wanted to, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Your main salesperson would be happy to sell that to you. But if you really want to take advantage of the economic of actually making sausage and doing a custom-made product in your kitchen, I like to use pork butts. Chef?
Yeah, absolutely. Even bone in, and then that way,
Sure.
anything with a bone in, it's better than bone out meat. More tender.
So, and then you can go ahead and break those down. Typically, what we like to do is we will actually dice it up and then go ahead and par freeze it, and then we'll run it through a meat grinder. Now, a meat grinder, most restaurants that I've been in anyway, a lot of them have an Hobart A200 mixer. It's the standard 20-quart mixer, right? Weighs about, it weighs as much as a football linebacker,
Right,
okay?
yeah.
Never should be moved alone. But that interface right there fits perfectly, and this is the mixer. This is the actual grinding attachment. When we're all done here today and talking about sausage and stuff, there's an iPad up here. If you put your information in there for your customer number, we're going to be able to follow up with all the item numbers of all this stuff if you want to go ahead and explore this. The other thing is, too, all of these things, we're assuming that we're going to be soaked in ice water, so they're ice cold when we're actually beginning the sausage making process.
Yeah, even if you stick your grinding attachments in the freezer for an hour or two beforehand, it just helps everything slide through better when you're doing the actual grinding.
The other thing we want to try to avoid, hopefully, is because we get this right fat and meat mixture, is when you do mix things, you don't want that fat to break out. So the cooler your equipment is, it's not going to turn into like a pink slime,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So most sausage stuffers are constructed about the similar way. You pop this bad boy out. We've taken the liberty of pre-forming the sausage casing over the extruder here. Chef, this stuff right here, this is packed in salt,
Yeah,
right?
salt packed. So
Basically good forever.
pretty much, unless you know, if it's open, you don't want to ever freeze this. They say not to freeze it, just leave it in the walk-in. It's just literally packed in salt.
And we can pass that around so you guys
Yeah.
can look at it. That's a special order item through Maine's, but we can get it for you. We sell it also in the Maine's Food and Party Warehouse stores as well. What we've done is we've actually soaked this for 24 hours in water. All right, make sure we rinse the salt off and soaked it in the cooler for at least 24 hours. Some people like to put a little splash of pineapple juice in there, and the enzyme in the pineapple juice will actually make this a little more supple because we'll avoid blowouts. So, we're going to start.
So when you pack this in here, you want to take a little bit at a time and you don't want any air to be, the least amount of air, so you want to pack it nice and tight. This is a 5-pound, the capacity for this actual vessel, it should hold 5 pounds of ground meat. We cut it in half to 2.5, so we're not wasting anything.
Because that's all the broccoli rabe I have. So, to this point, all we've done is we've ground up some pork.
Brown
We
it up.
added our favorite seasonings because
Yeah.
we played around with it. Actually, we skipped one important step. We don't know how it tastes.
There you
so,
go.
So we should. No. So we're gonna fire up the pan on our induction burner over here that Volrath was kind enough to let us borrow. I'd rip the knob off on that one. There you go. And we're gonna taste it. Real simple. Just take a little bit of this, put it in a saute pan, let it cook, and then taste it. If it needs more salt, we could go back to the mixing process. We technically should have done that while I was still in the mixer, but
Yeah.
that's the idea. Don't eat it raw. You're not cool, okay? So we're going to try that. And then that thing will get going. That's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Also, some people will season this. I've seen people, the simpler ones, they've let it sit for 24 hours before they actually go ahead and start mixing it up. Sometimes let the seasoning come in.
Yeah, the actual sausage mix itself.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of just let it marinate on itself. All the spices meld with the meat.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this actually back over to where we started. So
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're threaded here, but we have to, let's prime it first.
Yeah, there you go.
What we're gonna do, you see, Chef Chris put the sausage meat in here, but we still got this big giant air pocket. So what we're gonna do is start slowly cranking this down until we start to see it pop out. Got it, brother.
Yeah, when it pops out, you just take it back one. Then we're just going to take this casing, start pulling it out a little bit, then you just tying a regular knot on the end.
And that's pretty much it at this point. Now you can kind of guess what's going to happen from here, but there's actually a lot of art going on in this next process, okay? Now also two others. No drinking before this process. No giggly stuff, okay?
Unless you're nervous.
We're making sausage, all right? So our casing is all soaked up. We're ready to go. We got this tied off. Now a two-person operation works really, really good, all right?
Yeah.
So one person's going to pitch, the other person's going to catch.
Yeah, you
right?
want like a slow and steady and constant turn on the actual handle. You don't want to go really fast or really slow, kind of moderate and same speed at all times.
So, and what's going to happen here, we'll get it to one stage, and then we're going to start to show you. You can kind of let it hold for a minute. Let it hold that, let that fill in it. There you go. All right, we'll stop right there. All right, we're going to stop right here so you guys can get a picture here. You can see the sausage is starting to form. Notice how the casing is a little bit bigger than the tube. The guy that's catching wants to let that meat pack into that casing before they start to advance it, okay? And this is why two-person, because it's not a perfect science. There's a little push, there's a little pull, all right? So that's what we're going to do. What we're going to avoid doing this is the air pockets that Chef Chris referred to before. We want to avoid air pockets at all costs.
You're going to get them regardless. At the end, we'll show you kind of how to get rid of that. You could do it by yourself, but
I've done it. It's nowhere
It's
nowhere near as
not
much
easy.
fun.
a two-man, yeah. Two-man's way easier than one. So it's just, when it's piping out, you kind of just let it fill up, as he said, as it's extruding, and then you're just gathering it in like a regular sausage that you would buy.
But actually, the good news is that you
You're-
can't buy this sausage.
No.
And this
exactly.
is really the whole point of the idea here, is this gives you a very inexpensive, very cool, and very easy thing to make that's going to help set your restaurant's brand apart.
Right.
Every restaurant needs a brand. Every restaurant has a story, and they're all different. If it's not different, how are you able to, that's going to be the end of that. How are you able to differentiate yourself from your competition? All right? We know that the big giant restaurants who serve their purpose and are very great customers of ours could never even imagine making sausage like this in their restaurant on every couple of days. It's just they can't afford to do it because of labor and everything else. But the independent restaurateur that is like your typical mains customer, they're totally able to do this. Chefs, we are right in the middle of the age of craftsmanship. We are in the age of actually going back to the basics and trying to do things better. It's all about our craft now. And if we're not doing it, we have to go back and really seriously analyze what it is that we're doing. Really, Fabio was talking about that.
Yeah. If you have an Irish-themed restaurant, you can make an Irish-style banger, or if you have an Italian-themed restaurant, you make an Irish sausage or Italian sausage such as this. The possibilities are endless. There's so many different types. This is obviously a fresh, uncured sausage. When you get into your cured sausages, that's when you're starting with your sodium nitrates and your nitrites, and which is a curing salt. Curing salt is a mixture of the sodium nitrate and regular table salt, and sometimes there's like a red dye added, so it'll be pink, so it doesn't look exactly like your table salt, and you're not mixing it up with the two.
But then you could get into some of your dry aging and stuff like that, which is well outside our scope.
Salamis and
oh yeah, all the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what we now have is we have the meat is in here, we've packed it in, but we have some imperfections. And what Chef Chris is going to do is he's going to find the air pockets.
Yeah, you kind of just go around and give it a poke, and then it'll fill in where that air was leaving the void, if you will. It'll fill itself in with the ground meat and all the broccoli rabe and the nice seasonings. That way when you're cooking it too, a little bit of the fat will escape and it won't plump up and explode on you. Looking pretty good here, Chef.
I think so too. So now everybody's taught this process a little bit different. I was taught that you should let the sausage sit for about 24 hours before you try to cook it, particularly if you're trying to cook it in a saute pan. Because what will happen is that this casing is stressed out right now. If you give it a chance to really sear it or burn it, it's going to want to snap and break right open. So this will give it a chance to relax, absorb, and get used to where it's going to be now in its present state.
They also say when you're cooking a sausage, if you bring it up slower rather than throw it right in a really hot pan, if you bring it up from a low heat to a higher temperature, it's not as much of a snap on the casing, so that kind of prevents it from being really tough. This is giving me a pain, this end here.
That's okay, because I was going to split some up. Now, so what we've done here is we've actually made ourselves a nice coil. Now, you can't buy this. There's no way. Broccoli rabe, right? Beautiful seasonings. Actually, a seasoning mix is really good. And this is a recipe when we mail it out, or when we follow up with you, we're going to give it. Another trick that Chris did too, when you're putting in other vegetables and stuff, in order to not mess with the moisture, is we dry roasted the broccoli rabe with a little bit of olive oil and let it cool, and then chopped it before we put it in here. Otherwise, we would have added way too much moisture into the sausage. But either way, what do we got into this right here? Like $4, $5?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
a little bit of time.
And a little bit of time, a whole lot of love. Right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Which cost my mom about 9 months. So what we got now is a totally custom product that you can be proud of. If you don't want to cook it in total coils like this, you can go ahead and you can just, all you got to do is just spin them off, and now you're making links, just like that. And you can work yourself all the way down. Be careful when you see it get tight. And then next thing you know, you've got links. If you want a 4-ounce link, twist a 4-ounce link. You want a 4.5-ounce link, go ahead and do it. You're making the sausage. You're the sausage maker. You can do whatever you want. You want a smaller bun? You want to make more money? Go ahead and spin it off.
Yeah, the sausage that we utilize in the restaurant, like I said, we use it for stuffed mushrooms, and then we use it on an application with a grilled lamb in the pub. So everything is all about cross-utilization. If you want to keep something fresh, you kind of want to cross-utilize it on a few different applications, whether it's, you have a salad you might throw it on, then you have an appetizer. I was going to do a cassoulet, which is like a bean stew, if you will, old French world techniques with, you add your sausage and your pois, the beans, the tomatoes, and it kind of simmers down into a stew, if you will.
Other things that we've seen done, if you basically take any meat, any flavoring or aromatic, and you deconstruct it to just its raw meat parts, pork starting with usually pretty good, you can make any sort of sausage that you want, all right? So I've seen guys take pork and add like kaffir lime leaf and red curry paste, and they would make like this Thai red curry sausage. unbelievable. Now, what could you put that in? Just about everything.
Nice muscle bowl, whatever you want.
Maybe
pretty
my
much.
mouth. I don't know. It would be delicious. Any sort of thing that you want to do. I've seen Buffalo Blue, right?
Yeah.
That age-old theory that if you put
It's
hot wing sauce and blue cheese on anything, it's good.
Yeah.
It still works with sausage. We actually did it before. Really, the ideas are, it's really endless. What else do you want to add?
I think we hit it all on as far as, you know, what you can do with the actual sausage itself.
Pretty simple process, folks, don't you think?
Yeah.
Really?
The hardest part's the grind. That's why we didn't show you that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and it's about the chilling. We're going to send the bullet points to you and all of the sort of like tips that you're going to get as long as you go ahead and give us your information here and let us know. But this is pretty simple. It didn't take us any time at all. And that should be the cue to you that you should take this back to your restaurants and take a look and see, maybe this is something that you could work in. Maybe this is something that I can try to do at a holiday, put on the menu, in the bar, catering, whatever it is. But really, what we just showed you, it's that simple.
Yeah, and a lot of the times we make a sausage mix, and you don't even have to case it if you don't. You know, you just take the stuffing, you stuff it in whatever you want, and then you still have your own house-made sausage. Or if you do like a sausage and peppers on a buffet or whatever, you cut it, you cook it. Then I like my sausage out of the casing for sausage and peppers. I don't know about anybody else.
Well, you're in Syracuse, so it's kind of tough up here.
Yeah, I should stop talking now, huh?
Everybody gets a little picky about their pork parts, depending on where you're from.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, outside of that, we want to field any questions that anybody might have. Does anybody have any questions out there? Because I'll go running down there, particularly about sausage, or for Chris up here. We're going to come down and run questions from anybody. Nap
Nice.
time? Hey, listen, thanks a lot for coming up. Thanks a lot for making Chris
Thank you.
Mullen here feel welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming here. We're going to see you at dinner. We're going to spend a nice night with Fabio Viviani. If anybody has any questions, though, and they were too afraid to ask, come on up, because this is your kitchen, not mine, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Chef.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Want to try this?
Oh, yeah.